Roll Circus, changing rock history one podcast at a time. Yeah, baby. Hey, moms and dads and boys and girls and the children of all the ages. Oh, I didn't start the recording. I did all that and I didn't record it.
You doofus.
Didn't do it. Didn't hit recording. That's all right. But we're gonna. I'll paste that. I'll splice that in later.
You're good like
let's just start here. Let me hit the thing right here
Now
real quick.
Recording.
Now we're squeaking.
Now
we're gonna record. Sorry about that. A little anticlimactic there. I played some nice stuff on that solo.
You did.
Might have played some nice. That's okay.
No, it's in our memory.
That's all right. It'll all work out. There won't. I mean, that's the worst. If that's the least thing. I'm sorry we're so late, guys. We had a technical situation here.
Yeah.
It was fucking this whole day. People have been asking me like, "How's your day?" I'm like, "My day was stupid," and it was just one stupid thing after a fucking another.
Yep.
I'm like, what in the goddamn universe is
shame.
happening here? You know. But anyways, guys, welcome back to. Can you guys hear everybody?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Try to get everybody's levels to where they're supposed to be.
All right.
I need to. I see Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yes,
I see me.
yes.
I see the. Okay, so
All right.
the squeak. And back it down a little wee bit there.
There you go.
Okay, we don't want to be squeaking on you guys. Okay, anyways, guys, welcome to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi, a.k.a. Loudini. You can find out more about me and what I got going on at LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com or LouLombardiMusic.com. You can participate in all the wonderful activities we have on our websites, like checking out our back catalog of podcasts, our YouTube archive, our interview archive. You can become part of our inner circle and hang out with us live. Like I know a lot of people were probably going like, "Where in the hell is he? He's supposed to be started." We're running a little bit late tonight. I think as we said. Anyways, welcome back, everyone. That is all our stuff there to find us online. Also, I want to give a shout out to rockrageradio.com, where you can go and download an app. And this app is a certain kind of app, and I'm going to let Lily say, Lily, what kind of app is it?
Free.
It's free. It's a free app. It's a free app. Why do you want another app? Because this app is unlike any other app that has ever been made in the history of apps.
It's the appiest.
It's the most appiest. It makes me feel very happy to announce this app.
I see what you did.
Anyways, is that one of my words I'm not supposed to say? I don't have anyways on my list.
Oh, I thought you were looking for appiness. Appiness.
RockRageRadio.com. There's a great app you download from RockRageRadio.com. It is a app that gives you access to 24/7 amazing music programming that you're not going to hear anyplace else. They really love like indie bands, things that like stuff that you're just not really hearing even on Sirius and places like that. Lots of great interview shows. Speaking of that, Hot Licks with Lily 6 is at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. on Thursdays.
On Thursdays. And you would be proud of Pittsburgh Kevin and I because we plugged all your stuff.
Yes,
we thought everybody to vote for you on
very
the
good.
horror
Thank
thing. And we plugged your show twice, just like we did at the beginning and the end, just like we always do.
Oh, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Even though you're nerds.
Whoops.
What? Careful! Don't watch.
Oh, guys, that's a shame that solo wasn't recorded. That was good. But
It was
anyways, so rockrageradio.com, download the free app and check out Wolf's Customs, guys, please. I saw some of this work that Wolfie is putting out there. It's really cool.
Yes.
He does this amazing custom work on musical instruments. Check him out, wolfscustoms.online or just on social media. Let's talk about what is going on this week, guys. Lily, did you see any shows or do anything fun?
Did a bunch of things this week.
Send in the clown.
Was it our
No,
clown?
it
wasn't
wasn't.
our clown. It was a
worse.
different clown. The worst clown.
Fine. I no, they honked that damn horn, telling you, and I freaked out.
Okay, that clown.
Also, Friday, I went to go see Leadfoot Lover at Downtown in Canonsburg. I'm sick of it.
Wow.
With
Wow.
Metal Heathen herself, Sissy Boland.
There
and
you
I
go.
went to that show. Before
That's
that,
a
though,
good band. That's a good cover band. Like if you're,
Yeah, they're a lot of fun.
If you're like, if you are in the, not even the Pittsburgh area, they kind of like Washington, Canonsburg area.
still fun. I just want to throw this out there. Do not buy the werewolf wine. If you see werewolf wine, it gets you drunk on the first drink.
Well, wait a minute.
No, it's not as glamorous as it seems.
It's glamorous. It's not glamorous. It's like you know.
Put the brown paper bag.
I
around the
only
bottle.
drink glamorous wine.
I mean,
Oh,
I
is that how
do
you
usually.
Mm-hmm.
Bougie.
Bougie woogie.
But yes, I did
Playing that
several
bougie woogie music.
things, and then I did nothing Saturday because
I
I'm
did
hungover.
nothing.
I was hungover. Sunday,
Schultz.
I also did nothing. So there's that. But I did,
Go.
the rest of the week, and it was fine. Shows and haunted houses and podcasts.
I don't. I think my days of going haunted houses are over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spooky season.
I love spooky season, and we're going to be getting into some majorly spooky season stuff tonight because this is going to branch off into some stuff because I saw an awesome horror film this week. Awesome.
Which one?
I will talk about it in a little bit here, and then I saw. Well, anyways, I watched some other horror movies too, and of course I watched Trick or Treat.
Yes.
That's part
Of
of
course.
that.
Sure.
I decided once I watched Trick or Treat, I'm only going to watch horror movies until Halloween is over.
That's
Okay.
kind of a thing.
So, but then I screwed up and I started watching Celebration Day, the Led Zeppelin concert. And I was like, oh shit, you gotta turn this off, it's not horror. That's actually, just a sort of side note, this fucking killer. If you've never seen it, it's fun. I heard like the first two songs. They sound fucking amazing. This was that, when they got together, that celebration of Ahmed Ardigan.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
there was
yeah,
their
yeah.
one reunion. It was the only time they ever reunited. It was in 2012. They look great. They're older guys, but they really still, at that time, were still looking like rockers. It was cool. It was really fun.
Nice.
But that was my one faux pas. But the rest were all horror.
Good.
But let's talk. So we're going to get into this trick or treat thing. What, before we do that, how should we say? Should we start with fast?
Things.
Wow.
A little bit of all things.
A little bit.
So why? First of all, I think maybe we should explain why we're talking about trick or treat.
Okay.
Because some people may not know. So trick or treat, we need to talk about the movie. I think.
Okay, movie
So,
first.
so Trick or Treat is a 87?
86.
86 horror film. This was the reason we're talking about it is because it is a movie about that whole 80s. It takes place against the backdrop of that whole 80s hair rock, 80s metal, glam metal thing. But it's a story about backwards masking. If you guys remember, so we have to tell people what that is.
Yeah.
'Cause I think some people aren't going to have no idea because you guys are all used to listening to Spotify. But there's no backward masking on
That's what I
Spotify. You
think.
can't do none of that. It was a uniquely. That's really unique to an era. But in any case, it involves those things and this sort of like go metal versus metal is from Satan, and so that is the backdrop. And this kid does he conjures this demon by playing a record backwards. So that is why we're talking about it, because it is a heavy metal movie, and there is a band that there's one band that does the whole soundtrack, which is kind of cool because a lot of movies, right? They have like there are a bunch of different bands, and that's
Right.
cool too.
Yes,
You know what
yes.
movie has The Faculty from the 90s? That's got a good like 90s hard rock soundtrack. It's one of the. It just
I
made me
actually
think
know
of that.
one.
Like that's a cool movie, but it's Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack, with a lot of different artists. And that we're not saying that's wrong, but this is unique and it's one artist doing the whole soundtrack.
whole soundtrack,
Not that nobody's ever done that. Yes, before some people chime in. Yes, other bands have done it, but the movie, the music are kind of like together.
Yep.
They kind of work together. They're kind of a part of each other. And I have this, but this was not a big famous movie. It did have real money behind it. Dino De Laurentiis company was behind it. The guys that made the movie had just made Freddy's Revenge.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
So these weren't like, first timers or you guys like they went and they had a budget and they made this movie. It was a flop, but it became kind of a cult classic. So go ahead, Lily. So I just kind of wanted to lay it out why we were talking about it, because it's a movie about rock and it features band. So this is going to be our album, which is Trick or Treat by Fastway.
Great. So starting off with the movie, you kind of touched on that a little bit. This is a movie where metal was considered to be, which is why the kid gets bullied. Everybody, because he listened to metal. He obtains his.
Well, there might be some spoilers. We'll just tell people we're really trying not to go but there's going to be you're going to hear some stuff.
Right.
If you don't want to know anything about it, just pause the podcast right now, go watch Trick or Treat and come back.
We'll wait.
Well, anyway, a bullied metalhead obtains a mysterious demo record of a recently deceased hard rock star with startling consequences.
Who gives him the demo?
Oh,
Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons.
Who is Nuke.
Plays
DJ.
the DJ.
DJ, yeah.
Yes, Gene Simmons. This movie has some rock stars in it. Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne.
yes.
Go ahead.
Ozzy Osbourne is actually a preacher.
That's great.
To explain why all of that is bad, which I thought was hilarious. Some other interesting things. Actually, let me see if I can find what I want to say next. Well, Blackie Lawless of Wasp was actually originally set to play Sammy Kerr, but when director Charles Martin Smith told Blackie that they got Fastway to do the soundtrack, he would be lip syncing to their songs. Blackie's like, yeah, no,
I have my own
I have a
band.
whole band going on here.
Actually, I'm
actually a rock star. He didn't need Fastway's music because he had his own band. The special effects for the film
Plus
were
tax.
created by Kevin Yeager, who later provided the effects for Freddy Krueger and the Crypt Keeper from HBO's Tales from the Crypt. He also is in the movie as the lead singer guitarist for the band that's at the dance.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
pretty cool. Gene Simmons was also originally offered the role of Sammy Kerr. He didn't think much of the script and just decided to do a cameo as DJ Nuke. The title of Sammy Kerr's unreleased album, Songs in the Key of the title of Stevie Wonder's 1976 album, Songs in the Key of Life. But it's a really good movie. I don't know spoiling too much of it, I guess, since we can't do that. But it's a good soundtrack. It's all rock and metal sounding. There's some 70s sounds, some 80s sounds. I think it's complete cheese, but it's so much fun. If you're into horror or comedy horror and rock and roll and metal, you're going to love it anyway, just because that's what it is.
I'm gonna go back and watch that from the 80s because we're so used to modern horror
Right.
where nothing is left to the imagination. And I'm like, man, that's all the gore there is. But I'm like, no, that's not what this movie's about. No. So it was a blast watching it today. Again, after
How many years?
30 some years.
Do you have anything on how Fastway was selected to do this?
I don't think
I
so.
couldn't find anything either.
either.
What it says on the Fastway Wikipedia, whatever, it says that the Trick or Treat doubled as their fourth album.
Yeah.
With Dan King, Dave King, the singer.
That I don't know.
Is it
Well,
Dan?
what's the what?
I know
let's
this.
get into
I do know
Fastway.
this.
Let's
Okay.
get into Fastway too. So there's the movie, and the music is all by
Dave King.
Fastway, and it's an actual album.
Yeah,
right.
it's
all
actually-
original
It's not a
songs.
soundtrack,
Yeah,
quote, unquote.
and
It's an
and like
album.
what's cool about it is they're like real rock songs.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like, you know what I mean, like movie songs.
Right,
Right.
it's not like
Yeah.
scores or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Go ahead.
British heavy metal band formed in '82 by former Motorhead guitarist Fast Eddie Clarke and UFO bassist Pete Way. They ended up going through many lineup changes, member changes, because Pete Way left the band after receiving an opportunity to play with Ozzy Osbourne.
When the Ozman calls, you go.
Yeah.
That's everybody did that. Randy
Right.
Rhoads did that. Brad Gillis did that. Rudy Sarzo, they all did it.
And they did try to reincarnate the band several times in the 80s and the 90s, and even not recently, but in the 2000s. And then Clark passed away in 2018 from pneumonia, and Way passed away from
COVID.
I don't know what that was, in August of 2020, so probably.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
But that's what I have on Fastway. There was no why they did this soundtrack, but there's that. That's what I have on Fastway.
I have some thoughts.
Okay.
Kevin, is there anything you want to say about it?
Other than the fact that I've actually seen Fastway. I saw
Oh,
them back in the day.
fun.
And they opened for Rush up in Rochester,
Not
New
fun.
York. Come on, Lils. Be happy for
That sounds like
Fastway.
a great show.
Really good show because I only knew the one song, Say
What You Will.
and these guys came out and they're just like they're Fastway, and you're like, holy shit. Yeah, but I have the ticket somewhere. Unlike Lily, I did not dig through my shit.
I liked Fast Eddie Clark. I liked his work with Motorhead too. I thought he was a really cool guitar player. That's a great riff. Say what you will. That's the only song by them though I really knew. This was a band that like I was going to tackle on one of our podcasts where we talk about bands maybe we thought should be bigger, or we talk about like bands that like maybe you forgot about and you need to know about, and we give a little thing on them. We each do a couple bands. This was a band that was on my list I was going to bring up on one of those podcasts.
Yeah.
They are I want to take personal note about Fastway and their first album.
All right.
I have a memory
Yes.
of being I believe we're South Hills Village, walking past National Record Mart.
Okay.
They had that album came out and they made promotion for it.
Yeah.
With the checkered flag,
Right,
everything. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And it was all over the store. There's a big sign in the window. And Kevin and I went in to National Record and we're looking at the albums, and he says, Fastway sucks. I said, why? He goes, they don't have a bass player. I said, well, there's 3 guys. He goes, it's a guitar player, a singer, and a drummer. There's no bass player. And you were like all dicked off that they didn't have a bass player. And I was listening to the song. I'm like, well, there's somebody's playing bass. And then because there was no internet and you couldn't look shit up, whatever, I happened to catch like one of the DJs on the radio talking about how the band formed. It's called Fastway because of Fast Eddie Clark and Pete Way of UFO. But Pete left very quick. Pete left. The album I don't even think was even released. And it was just a funny memory of 2 high school kids.
I totally forgot about that until you just brought it up.
You were like,
you were absolutely right. Fuck this band. See you guys later.
Bye.
but they did have a bass player. It's not true. What happened was Pete quit the band and they were like releasing the album. So they're like, I guess we won't have him in the pictures. We don't have
Yeah.
It looked cool. You were right, though. It was kind of an odd thing, That was a kind of I think too with Fastway. When that happened, in my opinion, that was a strike against them, because when you come out with, and that's already out there, that one guy has already left the band,
like,
and the album hasn't even been released yet. That's that really raises red flags.
It's scary.
Yeah. With people, it really does. It should, but it really does. At that time, people knew everybody in the band. It was big.
It was kind of a big deal.
You knew everybody in the band. You had your favorite member of Led Zeppelin. You had your favorite Beatle. You had your favorite member of Kiss. You knew.
It's totally a thing.
It was absolutely totally a thing. And there were people that would go to because they really liked the one guy in the band, and they would watch. It was absolutely a thing. Well,
might be a little bit different for you.
Well, I'm a girl.
That's true.
Sort of.
I've heard that about you. Yeah.
It's a rumor.
So I think that hurt. What I realized too is there's only so much room on radio. Quiet Riot and Motley Crue and those type of bands, and these guys really were. Some of their songs are really good, but it could be a Quiet Riot song,
right?
That you never heard
yes,
before.
yes.
It's not that it's good. I mean, that's a compliment. Those are big songs. They have songs with big. So what's the song? Stand Up. Yeah, Stand Up is a really really good. It's not the Stand Up. It's not that Stand Up, but it's a good Stand Up. They did a good job on it.
It is a good stand up.
And anyways, the songs are all really good, but they're all of that. I mean, this I went this could be a Dawkins song. This could be. Is it Dan King?
It's Dan.
Dan King.
Yeah.
No, Dave. I'm sorry.
Dave King.
Never
Dave
mind.
King he's a great voice. It's really good. He sells the songs really, really well. But I think that's an issue. I think that was the issue with Fastway. I think this is one of the reasons why they got this thing was because they probably, to put it bluntly, were affordable.
We'll do it.
Yeah, they licensed. They were probably very happy to license their music to this because it was probably massive exposure.
Right.
I mean, it was a big Holly movie. This wasn't.
some indie film.
Yeah, this wasn't some. Yeah, yeah. This wasn't one of those.
Straight to cable.
Sam Raimi, what was his name? Bruce Campbell, string stuff. Kind of movie.
That's right.
In any case, they. That's probably why. Martin, what's his name?
Charlie
This,
McCracken?
no. The director.
Oh, hell. I had it.
You said it.
Charles Martin Smith.
Charles Martin Smith. So Charles Martin Smith, he was trying to make this movie and knows he needs a good band.
Mm-hmm.
And they are Fastway's a great band. But there's a budget, and they've got to be able. If they wanted to license, like Blizzard of Oz or something like that, that would have been probably the whole
So there
movie
it is.
budget.
Done. Dunzo.
And artists like Ozzy, Kiss, Van Halen, even Judas Priest and bands like that, they could command. I was thinking this morning, like, what other bands would have been like a cool plug-in? And I think Iron Maiden would have been fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That'd have been cool.
Dio.
Sure.
I mean, there's this
Fit right in there.
there was some that would have been really, really good for it. But do you want to maybe run down the album a little bit? And
You want me to give you some history on that?
yeah.
All right. So it's the 4th album by Fastway. And, of course, the soundtrack to Trick or Treat. It was released in November of 86, so a month after the actual film came out. This was the final Fastway album to feature Dave King on vocals. The film flopped, but soundtrack reestablished Fastway as a hard-hitting metal band. The soundtrack was a moderate success and stayed on the Billboard Top 200 chart for 11 months.
Soundtrack was actually more successful.
Yes.
Then it makes you wonder, did they need the movie?
Yeah, right.
Maybe the movie held them back.
Ooh. Maybe.
These are good songs. This is why you listen to us, because we try to pick up shit that maybe other people didn't pick up. But go ahead.
The success of the soundtrack combined with the little money the band received caused fighting, and the group disbanded. King took most of the band with him and started QED. That's funny.
This is
more.
welcome to. Now you're listening to WQED. Coming up next, World Cafe, and after that will be Sounds of Poetry with Terry Grace.
The album features a collection of hook-laden hard rock tunes that are firmly rooted in the sound of the mid-'80s, but are also given a little bit of classic rock backbone.
Classic rock backbone.
Oh, hell.
Oh, hell, baby.
Oh, my.
But what's fun, also, one little quick tidbit about the movie as well, is at the beginning of the movie, you see all of Eddie's collection of records, and there's Impaler, Exciter, Possess, Sabotage, Judas Priest, Anthrax, Raven.
Oh, it's an advertisement for it's like the
Basically.
who's
All
who
the bands.
of that the bands of that era.
Exactly.
What it was 86, 86. I mean,
October 86.
Yeah, I mean these were the bands that were ginormous.
Yeah. And he also has a picture of the band Lizzie Borden in his locker, so there's that. Yay. That's all I have on the band. As far as track listings, there's not much background.
No.
On what the songs mean, and I'm chalking that up to you watch the movie and that's what the songs are about.
Yeah. Yeah, the songs fit into the movie, whatever's going on in the movie at the time. You're like, oh.
Or maybe that's what Fastway should have done. Is they should have went and watched more movies and wrote songs based on movies.
There you go.
What a bubble. It's a cool cover too.
Mm-hmm.
With Sammy Kerr on the front.
Sammy Kerr.
Who I'm mildly attracted to, which is kind of sick, but that's okay.
I don't think he would have been attracted to you. I'm just saying.
Well, not in real life.
No, exactly. In the movie? Hells
Yeah.
Some funny goofs in the movie.
You're a funny goof in the movie.
Okay. After removing her bra, Jeannie's bra straps reappear and disappear while she's listening to Peace Offering, the song, the tape. When Eddie's mom picks up some of those records, the top record cover keeps changing.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that today.
Spilled Pepsi on the record disappears when Eddie smashes up the stereo.
Miracle.
That smashing of things usually cleans up messes
Pepsi
too.
go right away.
What's here? What do we got? Start. Okay, I'm sorry. I should be reading.
You can read out loud now.
When Eddie leaves the car that goes almost off the drawbridge,
Yep.
you can see a jack. Now, when I saw that, though, I thought that was like, I saw it,
Yeah.
but I assumed it was like some kind of debris that he ran
same
over or
here.
something.
Yep.
So, I mean,
You didn't think anything
I
of
didn't think anything
We'll
of
let
it.
it go.
I didn't really think anything.
Oh, here's the thing. When was it the mom's car that was driving backwards toward the end? I think it would have been a really funny, especially homage to that era and that particular car if it ran into something and blew up, because it was a
Right.
Pinto station wagon. I was actually waiting for that to happen.
That's funny. That
I'm
would
like,
have been
that
awesome.
would have been
Well, okay, so there was a
hilarious.
well, we got to back up. Hold on.
Hold on now.
We got to fill in
Simmer
the
down.
public here, because in the late 1970s and early 1980s, I think it was late 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
The Ford Pinto. It was a vehicle. It was just handy little. At the time, because of the
Subcompact.
oil embargo and all the things with the gas, it was terrible. The economy car was now the thing. People were trying to. Every company was clamoring to
Small
make
car.
an economy car. So Ford made the Pinto and Chevy made the Chevette, and there were all these different things. But the Ford Pinto started to get rumors out there that like they had exploding gas tanks, like they could really explode very, very easily.
Yes.
And that's terrible. But there was a segment of it on, what was it, Kevin? 2020 or one of those
I'm
things.
sure, yeah.
And after that, there was a lot of jokes made about it, and everybody took shots at it. Saturday Night Live, everybody. But there is a movie, and I can't remember what movie. It's like maybe Top Secret or The Naked Gun, or one of those movies has something happen and somebody like just barely glides up to a Pinto after it like explodes.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
yeah.
Can't remember.
Can't remember what
one of
movie.
those spoofy movies.
But yes.
So so when I saw
I was
it,
waiting
it would
for
have been
that
great,
to
the exploding
happen. Never did.
Pinto. But I think they were trying to make a serious horror movie. So let me tell you guys what I think of some of the issues with the movie and why I don't think it was big. It wasn't as big as it could have been, because it's a great idea. They took what was happening in music, and that time MTV fucking ruled, and that's where everybody was. You guys today are all into gaming and stuff like that, but back then it was MTV. Can we all agree on that? Absolutely. And if you were big on MTV, you were fucking huge. So these guys were capitalizing on that scene, and you would think that like this is awesome horror and heavy metal,
Yes.
but here's one of the issues with the movie, and this did kind of bug me, and then I read about this later on. It's a heavy metal movie that's celebrating heavy metal, but it's also saying that heavy metal is like demonic and everything all at the same time, and it has the whole thing with the backward masking, which I'm going to explain in a second. So, because this character conjures this demon or this resurrected singer who's
Yes.
like actually like
Yes.
kind of like a demon. Now he's inspired by Freddy Krueger. He has this burnt kind of on his face
Yeah.
and everything, So it's a kind of pro metal, but kind of anti metal, and a lot of metalheads thought it was bashing metal and didn't support the movie.
I totally get that.
They were like, they thought they were being made fun out of. That was and then there were those who loved it and thought it was great too. Like didn't take it that way, but it gave like a mixed message.
Right. Right.
So I think that is I think that is like one of the biggest problems with the movie. I think that like the effects and stuff, they look silly to us now. But if you go back and look at a lot of movies in that, especially with that budget in that area, that was like pretty much par
That's
for
how it
course.
was,
It
yeah.
would have been
Yeah, it was
accepted.
pretty decent,
Nobody
yeah.
would have been like,
No.
So that was, I think that hurt the film. Because they were thinking that like, this could be like the next thing. Like this could be this is going to be the next Freddy Krueger. This is going to be the next Jay. They were kind of hoping
Yes.
that maybe they could do that would happen, but it absolutely did not work out. So I think that's one of the issues with the movie. It's corny and silly. Now it features something called backward masking, and we just want to say a couple more things about the movie. Backward masking me explain this to you. This is when you play a song forwards and it says one thing, and when you play it backwards, it says something else. The lyrics, you can actually hear the actual intelligible lyrics that say something else.
No.
And it is debated, right? I mean, some of them are like uncanny, and then some of them are like you're just hearing
You're
what
reaching.
you're reaching, you know.
Yeah,
But there's some that are uncanny. There's some that are you go like, you know, like the Turn Me On, Dead Man. I mean,
that was on purpose, though.
right. But I'm saying, like, of course, but there are ones that are uncanny. The Stairway to Heaven thing does sound like a voice speaking. But I'm not exactly sure what is being said.
Right.
But you can hear a couple of. It sounds, you know. In any case, and it's spooky sounding too, right?
Yeah.
Kind of spooky. So people started. I don't know how it got started, Mr. Pittsburgh, but this was a thing in the late 1970s and early 1980s where these guys that would go around the country with these multimedia displays, talking about the devil in today's music. Invariably, they would come to the section where they would talk about backwards masking.
Yes.
And they would play the song or like a portion of the song in the right in forwards, and then they would play it in reverse, and they would, you know, tell you what you know.
Did you hear that?
You would hear it. Listen again. You can hear him say, "Satan loves me" or something. So this, because it kind of again alludes to this thing, like, because it was a thing, it was back, you know, it was a kind of people like
Satanic
backwards masking. There were people that thought backwards masking was people that thought it was bullshit. It was probably a little bit of both. That's as life is. But
That's how our main character communicates, though.
yeah, so that's how the main character, what he starts doing is playing the records back, and he gets messages from the singer, Sammy Kerr, to do this and do that. He's bullied, and so at first it's fun because he kind of gets over on these kids,
Right?
And you're like rooting for him, and then it starts to get kind of dark. And I think all of that is really good. I think the way that it slowly escalates, because that's exactly how it is. You get sucked into something, right?
Yep.
And you think it's all fun and games till somebody, and one guy almost loses an eye.
There's a whole lot.
Right.
But I love that scene.
It's a great scene, but what I'm saying, it's like literally that. It's all fun and games till somebody loses an eye.
And even the main character starts to change a little bit. He changes his wardrobe from like the nerdy clothes to like the more rock and roll clothes as he's listening to more of what Sammy has to tell him on the record, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah, he gets caught up in it, but then when somebody gets hurt is when he gets
That's when he
kind of snaps out of it. He's
That
like,
wasn't
whoa,
really
whoa.
like, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy getting over on these bullies, but this isn't.
This isn't what I asked for.
Yeah,
I did not sign up for this.
Right.
So I wanted to mention that. I want to explain what backwards masking was to people. I hope that my explanation was clear enough. Did I sound
think so.
cogent?
Yeah.
The other thing I do want to talk about real quick about the movie, this is really great, is all of Ozzy's lines are improvised.
Really?
Are you serious?
All improvised. And Charles Martin Smith said that they have like 30, 45 minutes of Ozzy doing this. He really went, like, he preached like a whole sermon. And they were like, it was great, but there was no way they could use. They've only needed, so they just picked what they wanted and put it on there. But it's improvised. He did it on himself.
That's awesome.
That's pretty
and he's
cool.
so coherent.
That's just it. I could understand everything he was saying, and I'm like, was it dubbed?
In Dubley?
In Dubley?
No, they recorded it in Dubley.
Oh, that's what it is.
But that's kind of cool that he's in the movie in that way.
In that capacity. Yeah, that was really funny.
There is a post credits scene or something in there? No?
There is
something that kind of happens
There
where
was a
extra
scene after the
scene,
credits,
yeah.
which I did not see.
Neither
today
did I.
when watched it.
Was it even on the YouTube?
I don't know.
There is
a
there's a monster that appears once, and they had ideas to do more scenes with it, but the budget wouldn't allow. When she gets banged in the car,
Banged in the car.
banged. We can't say raped. We'll get. Oh shit! Can't say it. Sorry.
Damn it!
You did it.
Way to go!
You
It's
know,
the 80s, of
you
course she was
can't
banged in the
say.
car.
You know, you can't listen to me. You can't say suicide online.
No.
You have. I literally heard. I'm literally hearing YouTubers say
Unalive.
unlifed herself.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy talk.
Yeah. And in any case, so I
had enough.
I
You
digress.
digest.
But so I think that the movie is a product of the time.
Yeah.
I love it. I
And
don't
it's
care.
But
fine.
here's what I think, though. Of all movies, when people want to say do remakes, I think this could be an awesome remake. I think you do a kick-ass
with
remake
the right
with
people,
this,
they could
Yep.
do this.
and especially if you could set it then, do it in the past,
80s, yeah.
set it in the 80s.
Yeah, don't update it.
Don't have to set it in the 80s because like there's all this interest now with the Motley Crue movie and all these different things. People are like there's a resurgence of interest in this type of stuff. I think that like you could tell a really fun horror story, set against that backdrop. With with like more kind of updated acting, because that's another thing. Like the acting in places is just like there was. What I've noticed about movies, it seems like especially you watch like real early movies from when they were first movies, acting was started out like real hammy.
Right.
And then over the years, the idea of becoming more natural, that like slowly come. There was a long time where there was like two schools. There was actors who acted real natural, and then there was actors who really acted.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes actually from the stage.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly where it comes
You had to project yourself so everyone knew what you were talking about.
And so there's some places in the movie where you can tell it's like it's acting and not doesn't feel. So it'd be kind of fun to see that done. It isn't a super serious movie or something like that, but it would be fun.
I
By the way, the guy who plays Sammy Kerr is Tony Fields. Tony Fields was a solid gold dancer.
Yep.
was he really?
He sure was.
Wow.
He sure was.
Wow. See. But I do have. Can I propose a serious question here? If they
Will we be doing Stonehenge tonight?
Well. If they do the remake, my question would be, can the Pinto blow up this time? I think that would be all right.
I think we can make it happen.
Pinto.
Pinto.
Pin on a toe.
Also, vinyl and like cassettes are like getting huge again, so I think doing
Sure.
it in the 80s would make
Right,
a
I
lot of
think that
sense.
there's a whole resurgence of a re-interest in that. I was that song that I played for you guys, or I had as my song last week by Polyphia featuring Steve Vai. That's actually getting like massive streams and massive downloads.
Good. Yeah,
Nice.
it's really good.
Yeah. So that, it's kind of showing that there's some interest in people wanting to hear people play an instrument and do stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe we are going to see the return of rock.
Yes.
It would be cool.
I pray to Sammy Kerr every night.
Oh, don't do that. I don't want him ending up in the
So-
apartment.
The
Please.
apartment above you.
This was this inspired me. I decided not to watch anything other than horror movies now till the end of the month. So I've seen a whole bunch, and I'm not going to talk about all the ones I have seen, but I must say that I saw two brand new movies this past week. One was fan-fucking-tastic, and that's Barbarian.
Okay.
It is
Ooh,
so goddamn good. From beginning to finish. Keith said he didn't like the ending. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He's watching, by the way.
Yeah.
It's
Hi, Keith.
fucking awesome. That movie is fucking great. It's just fucking killer.
I'll have to watch it.
Everything about it. Just try not to watch any trailers or anything if you can. If
Okay.
you've never heard
Going
anything about it,
cold.
just
Okay.
go in cold. You are going to like it.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like it.
Just go in and just go with it. It's fucking impressive.
Okay.
It's really
I already like the names
and there
and stuff.
is and this is how you do social commentary. It has a lot of different like themes, and there is all that in there, but they just tell an awesome story, and it just kind of like the ideas kind of just sort of seep in what's going on.
Keith goes, it's not the relic.
It's a great movie.
Noise.
It's a great, not The Relic. The Relic is not a great movie.
still
Barbarian.
like
You have to see you have to see Barbarian.
All right, it's on my list.
The other movie that I saw
Uh-huh.
is the new Hellraiser.
I'm a little skeptical, but tell me, please.
So, I have been correcting YouTube reviewers on their reviews. Just kidding. I'm being an asshole. It's a look. If you look at the reviews on YouTube, most of them are pretty glowing.
Okay.
Jeremy Johns, he and I are a little bit more in line. It's well, first of all, let me say the Cenobites, the set pieces, jaw dropping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what they did with the Cenobites is fucking yes.
That good?
They're
All right.
fucking awesome.
Nice.
And because like that can go wrong, right? When you try to update something.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Clive Barker was heavily involved. He wrote the story called The Hellbound Heart, which the original Hellraiser was based on. But the set pieces, all of that, like the way they handle all that is really fucking good. They do some really cool things. They don't introduce the Cenobites and all that like stuff like right away. It's done very slowly. Some of it's done like kind of in the background. You'll see like the chains come and carry somebody away.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like
interesting.
it's
All right,
really
sure.
like it's very fucking cool.
Okay.
So that is awesome. There is some really fucked up violence in it, but
yeah.
I don't mind. I don't like gore for the sake of gore, but if it makes like in a Hellraiser, you can't do Hellraiser
Without it.
you have to have that, and you really get your money's worth. But it doesn't become Hellraiser until about halfway through.
Okay.
The first half of the movie. So now I'm going to talk about some stuff that's like, Oh, the other cool thing about the movie.
Yes.
The other cool thing about the movie is they give you some backstory about what this box is.
Okay.
And they fill in some of those gaps, which the original movie didn't do.
Yeah,
But anyway-
I heard it was a little more true to.
Okay, so and the lead Cenobite, the priest from Hell, everybody calls that character Pinhead. That's not its name. People just call it that. It's nowhere it's called Pinhead. But in any case, is played, I believe, by a woman, and much more true to the novella, because in the novella it is described as being completely androgynous. And this is a kind of like looks like a woman, but has like the voice, the
Talks
way they
like a
did
man.
the fucking voice they did is killer.
Wow.
The fucking voice they did is killer. But anyways, the first half of the movie is like is this an R-rated movie? Because it's very like PG-13, and it's this soap opera thing with this
Oh, they were just gearing you up.
this girl who's like she's an alcoholic and her brother's mad at her and blah 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 blah.
Like,
And
am I watching the right movie?
right, and so this nonsense that they're all terrible people. They're just like, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like any of you. You're awful.
Yeah.
Awful people. So you don't care.
Right.
And really, you are kind of starting to look at your watch going like, I guess they've
I
just
made a
decided to like,
mistake?
I just figured, I started to think, well, maybe this is 2022. They toned all the violence and everything down
Right.
because, it's not politically, whatever. I don't know what, I just was, and then about halfway
then?
then it becomes Hellraiser, and it's Hellraiser
boy.
to the last fucking
To the
scene.
extent.
The
Yeah.
very last scene. To the very last fucking scene, it's Hellraiser. But there's this long, and I mean, they do this. It's like the cliche PG-13 ghost stories, where they've got to find out the background and who lived here in the house
Right,
before.
the whole thing.
So I was waiting for them to go to the library and look up the microfiche. But they,
Wow,
but,
you
but
just
they
dated
did
your
have a
whole
scene.
self.
They did have a scene where they went to not Google, but like Google, because they can't use Google.
I see,
And
yeah.
they're researching the thing. I'm like, they're all looking over the computer and going, Yeah, that was fucking terrible. And I'm going to say something that no review. Now, some of the other reviewers have said that the beginning is slow, and they should have put that together a little better. That the characters are terrible. Some people have admitted that. But there's something I know nobody's going to say, and this is I apologize in advance because this is not going to be nice.
It's not going to be pretty.
But this young lady who plays the lead character.
Yeah.
Now, I love strong female characters. Hellraiser, both movies, the first two movies, have a strong female heroine. Mm-hmm. Okay? And, so that's not something new or woke or
Right.
anything.
That's
It's
just
just
fine.
it's just fine. Okay. So I think that's kick ass. And I was expecting that. By the way, this is not the story of the original movie. Like, it isn't there's no Kirsty and Frank, and
Okay.
there's none of that. It's like they're telling a whole new, this is a kind of like reimagining reboot or something. I don't know exactly how to describe it. In any case, this young lady, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. She comes up, they've put her on the screen, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with her lips? There's something going on with her lips, and it's distracting. And it takes you out of the movie every time she has anything anytime she has remotely a kind of close up where we can see her whole face. You're like, God, lady, do something with them fucking lips.
Yikes.
They look like, when she first comes on the screen, it looked like she had just been punched in the mouth and had to put some lip balm or something on it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Just very weird.
Do you know who the actress is?
You could look it up. I don't know her name. If to my knowledge, I've never seen her in anything else.
Because Catherine Reitman this is Ivan Reitman's daughter, has that kind of weird, funky lip thing going on. And
It's
after
really,
a while, you're like, what's up with her lips?
yeah. I mean,
What's wrong
it's
with
just
her?
it was distracting, and I know maybe the young lady can't help it. Maybe that's just how they did her makeup. Maybe somebody thought that looked good. I don't know. It looked like, or maybe she had just gotten all the collagen injections and went right out and started filming.
Okay. Yeah, we're looking at pictures of her now.
I think that's just how she looks.
Yeah, I think that's how she looks.
God bless you, honey. And I don't mean any disrespect that, but
What if she's
I know I'm
listening?
being mean, but it took me out of the film. It was just like,
Crying right now.
they just kept,
Why doesn't Loudini like me? He hates these lips.
it's just really just. So beware the lips.
It's distracting.
I would tell you, like, if I had to give it a grade, I would give it a B- C+.
Okay.
It is a well-made movie, by the way. It's not, I mean, it looks like it's a Hollywood movie. It's not done on the cheap, or
Right,
it's not
right.
like those almost direct-to-video
Yeah.
Hellraiser 13 and all that. It's not like,
Trick or treat.
yeah, no, it's not anything like that. It's a legitimate, and the guy that Bruckner, I think was his name, made the film. He was a real fan of the original material, so it's worth I would say check it out if you're a fan of the Hellraiser series. Check it out. Don't be
try that.
prejudiced against not having Doug Bradley. And a lot of people were like prejudiced against the film because Doug Bradley wasn't going to play Pinhead. But I mean, the dude's like, he's a lot. They would have had to do de-aging, and that adds all
Yeah,
kind of
yep.
cost to everything they were doing. But these Cenobites are fucking killer, and they've got some terrifying lines that they say to people and stuff. That's like, it's fucking awesome. Like, that's fucking great. But just like, I almost would watch it again, but I would just fast forward to. But it's about 45 minutes, 50 minutes is where it starts to turn into
Really
something.
kicks in.
Yeah. It's not that there isn't anything in the beginning, but it's just, it doesn't really kick into that. So that was my thing. Real quick, I read Stephen King's Fairy Tale that he just released in September. Mm-hmm. It's like the main characters like Carrie.
Okay.
Or Arnie in Christine. He loves this on the cusp of adulthood.
Okay.
And they these characters all found themselves in situations where they had to step into adulthood in a very kind of awkward, rough way. And this character, Charlie, has this happen to him. I didn't like the pacing. I thought there were places that he needed to pick it up a bit, but I ultimately ended up really falling in love with the story. And Stephen King said he wrote it because of the pandemic. He felt like his readers needed a story with a great happy ending, something that would really make them feel good. So I guess maybe if that's a spoiler for you, but it's got a lot of glowing reviews on online. I thought it was like pretty good. I definitely wouldn't say it's the best, and I wouldn't tell you if you're looking to get into reading horror novels and read Stephen King to start there. But it's that, and I watched The Final Conflict. I don't know why.
There are actually 2 movies that I'm going to be watching the next 2 weeks. One is Terrifier 2.
I'm
Heard it
kind of
was-
scared to watch it.
Heard it wasn't as good. Still want to watch it because that is what makes me
I
pee
heard
my
it.
pants.
I heard though, Lily. I heard it's a total fucking blood fest.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
that's the way it should be. But clowns.
That
so
first
I'm gonna
one.
pee my pants.
That first one, man. I was
that guy.
that was one of those movies where I just was like, oh, this is gonna. I was like, I'm not really, I'm just putting anything on, and I was like, fuck, this is like it was effective at what it did.
Yeah.
By
Oh,
no
yeah.
means is it a great movie.
Yeah, piss
Keith.
my pants.
It's not a great movie,
Clowns.
but it is effective at what it sets out to do, which is, scare the shit out of you with this fucked up clown.
Well, that I will be watching because I like to just obviously pee my pants over clowns. And the other one is Halloween Ends. So once that's out,
I'm gonna see Halloween
yeah,
Ends.
I have to.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Have
definitely
to.
gonna see it.
So
I
those
saw
are the
the
two
other
that I'm going to be watching, and I have to watch Hellfest again for the 100th time because I just love that movie.
Okay, Pittsburgh Kevin.
Yes.
Want to chime in on anything else about Halloween related, horror related, or anything before we move on?
No, Halloween scares me.
Oh God, we are going to do a Halloween show this year.
Scared.
31st.
Yep.
Please.
I'm
Yep.
sacrificing virgins that day.
Oh.
You can do it on the podcast.
I can't.
Ooh,
Yes, you can.
No, I cannot do the 31st.
What?
I cannot do the 31st.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
I wanted to have
I
you
come
here and do
over.
like a
I'm not
big-
doing anything. I come over for you. I come up. Hey, listen, Halloween. I come dressed up like Lily. What
We're
do you
gonna
think?
tell rock star ghost stories.
I cannot do the 31st.
Oh, you suck.
I do.
You
You're
suck,
welcome, Kenny.
What did I say that made you laugh?
I don't know.
I said something like,
Dicks and cocks. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone
There's
now.
no Dicks on cocks.
Dicks on cocks.
goddamn cock dick, whatever. So let's do our new and notables.
All right.
And somebody else talk.
Mine is Tyrant.
Ooh.
They're a heavy metal band from Michigan. They're formed by brothers Andrew and Philip Winters in 2012 while they were still in high school, so they're super young. They have a sound that is a fusion of everything from Megadeth to Kiss to Pantera.
Wow.
They have gained, and that's what gave them a broad audience. They have opened for Deicide, Metal Church, Diamond Head, and they have a new album just released at the end of September, which is why we're talking about it. Through Pavement Entertainment called The Lowest Level, and Pray for the Night is my favorite track, and I think everybody will like it because literally this album has something for
Have like some Lawrence Welk.
no
Cool. Well,
What does that
maybe
look like?
metal rock.
they're
Calm
lying.
down.
Maybe there's some bubbles when they play live.
Maybe they're farting into their phone.
Wow.
So there's that.
Champagne music.
The lovely, lovely Tyrant.
It's Mr. Pittsburgh. You
So
have anything?
as always, I get all my new music
From us.
from TikTok. No, I go to the TikTok every now and again. So, a guy I've been seeing a lot on TikTok, I follow him, is Matt B. Singer, MattBsinger. Plays a nice creamy strat. Plays a lot of blues,
Very
bluesy
creamy.
rock stuff. And here's the funny thing: you may find this hard to believe. Every now and again, there's technical difficulties. Exactly.
We don't know about that.
We had such a screwy time at the
Oh,
beginning. I'm
trying to
still
get
like
this
kind
thing.
of like trying to settle down from again.
No, we're cool.
But one night Matt was on there. He's going to town, and there's absolutely no sound.
Oh.
And he had like 1,500 viewers, and of course we're all chiming in, can't hear you, and I'm like, oh, he's playing The Sound of Silence and stuff like that, right? As soon as he figured it out and got his music on, this is so sad. He lost like about 600-700 viewers.
Aw.
I think everybody was just there, like, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? But he's a really good player, Matt B. Singer. A lot of fun to watch on the TikTok.
The TikToks.
On the TikTok.
Mine is Stone Senate.
Oh.
They put out a record. They're coming out with a new record. It's not out yet, but I got a press release from somebody who I think wants me to try to have them on the podcast or something. They are a Southern rock band.
Yeah.
The song's called Down. I put a link to it in the notes. Check it out. It's very cool if you like that sort of blues rock, Southern rock kind of thing. Just sort of a couple other little funny things. Howard Stern just left his apartment for the first time in 2 years.
I heard
What?
that.
For real?
Yeah, for real. What a fucking idiot! I'm sorry. He's a what do you call it? What is a germaphobe? And so when he did that thing and he went off and said that people who don't get the vaccine should be put into concentration camps. He said something wild like that.
Yeah.
But that like, and everybody on was like what, but I was like, he's a germaphobe. So
Right.
like this is his worst nightmare.
Exactly.
That there's a fucking like a flu bug around. That his imagination
Robin, I'm
is
staying
just
home.
he's like super. You've seen his movie? He's super neurotic. And I think when he got married to Beth, and I think he went through a period where he was like really chill, but
Right.
I think he's come, but he was
knocked him off.
that neurosis was creeping back in.
Oh, yeah.
It was really creeping back in, and he just became his old self again. He's a super neurotic person.
Yes.
But I've listened to him my whole life. It's fucking great.
Keith says Green Gasoline from New Orleans is a killer rock and roll band.
Oh my, Keith. Thank you, Keith.
Are you gonna return? Can you come back on next week and be on for real? Let me know.
Keith.
I'll have to. We'll set it up. I wasn't prepared.
For anything tonight.
Yeah, tonight it was a total fuck.
Tonight.
That's why we started half an hour late.
30
Anyways,
minutes later, yeah.
So the other thing, and I didn't put this on my notes, but I wanted to roll this at you guys,
Yes.
is there's a feud right now
Uh-oh.
with the and I beg your pardon, you're the singer for the band Falling in Reverse. I can't remember your name, I apologize. And with Sebastian Bach and Eddie Trunk. Now, of course, Sebastian, like, really escalated on Twitter to like, meet me in the parking lot, motherfucker. I'll kick, like he went there. Like before.
That's what he does.
It's like, hey, calm down. We're not even there yet. But so I guess they didn't do a show because their laptops got shipped to the wrong place.
Oh, boy.
And so Eddie Trunk, like he's a big, if you've listened to his show, he is really anti bands using tracks.
Right.
He
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
hates that.
Sure.
That just wasn't going to fly with him. And Sebastian Bach got in on the discussion as well. And so they've been ganging up on this poor kid. And I kind of felt bad for the kid because this is the 21st century. We're in the what? The second, about to enter the third decade pretty soon, right? The second decade
Yes.
the third decade. We're in the third decade
Yes.
of the 21st century.
Yes.
Music isn't created the same way as it was in the 60s. It just isn't. And he demonstrated, this young man, and I apologize, I can't remember his name, from Falling Reverse. If somebody chimes in the comments, you could let me know. They demonstrated on stage to their audience, like, this is what would happen if we didn't have this, because they're mixing in electronica and all kind of stuff like that. So they would literally probably have to hire a couple other players in order to really, have those sounds. That's a big part of what they do. And they've made a little goof on it. They kind of goofed on themselves, and it's just not. They have sequencers and stuff. So Eddie took, like, he had the, he's been on this for years with Kiss and some of these bands, having tracks. But I started thinking about it, and like I said, these kids are doing this. But I saw Rush on a Snakes and Arrows tour. Mm-hmm. I think that if all their gear, if their like sequencers and stuff went down,
Oh, yeah.
like,
They'd be playing their first album.
yeah, they'd play their first
That would
album.
be it. Thank you. Good night.
They'd play their first album. Maybe their second album.
Oh, is it Tuesday next week? Oh, bloody hell.
Blow you. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean,
I think-
they're not.
it's a
They're
new-
not doing. They're not using laptops to like create something that is supposed to be being played on stage. The guitar, bass, drums, and singing are being played by
The
those
way they
guys.
should be
Yeah.
played, which is fine. If they have to use the laptop for whatever they need to use, whatever, I don't care. I go see Kiss and they do that stuff too, so it's fine. However, Sebastian Bach, for being a Canadian man, is really angry all the time.
Yeah. What's his problem, eh?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
So I was thinking about Rush doing that, but you're right. I think that there's a. But anyway, so what are your thoughts on stuff, Kevin, about this thing?
I'm very old school. But you know what? These big modern shows with the lights and the multimedia and everything happening, you do need
That's all done with the computer.
it's all done with computers. There has to be a click track to let you know when to come in because this is going to happen and that's going to happen. But that's why I like just going to see a local band in a bar, 2 guitars, the bass player, and a drummer.
It's the most fun.
Yeah. And there's no computers, and if they fuck up, and they laugh about it, and they go on and play the next song.
And guess what? The audience doesn't care because we're all drunk
Nope,
anyway.
because they're all drunk anyway. And I'm not paying $500 to see them.
I think that you're really hitting on something.
Am I?
I think you're really hitting on something.
Am I hitting
I think you could
something?
start a movement with that.
I could start a movement, do you think?
And I don't mean a bowel movement.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Ah! Lily's like disappointed. But I wanted it to be a bowel movement. So we talked about Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
We could discuss some other horror related stuff. The rest of the month, by the way, is all dedicated to spooky stuff.
Ooh,
So I
Spooky
might as
butts.
well go ahead and tell you what we're doing here.
okay.
Next week, we're going to be on Tuesday instead of Wednesday.
Yeah, I
instead
just
of
found that
Monday.
out.
And, yeah, well, we have to. Us.
Ooh,
So we all had those
okay.
album covers when we were young, just getting the music. Are just our personal
Right.
favorites. We're not, and we're just gonna have some fun with this.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, on the 24th, the 10 spookiest classic rock songs of all times. It's not all monster mashups and flying purple people eaters.
Okay.
good shit.
There's some
Real
there's
shit.
there's some dark shit out there. There's some
Yeah,
songs that are like,
yeah.
whoa, dude, like what the fuck, And then on Halloween, which I wanted to do on Halloween, but we might have to do something different.
You guys can do Halloween. I just have
9
a whole thing
rock
going on.
star ghost stories to keep you awake at night. So there's a lot of, just like celebrity ghost story, there's
Sure.
just the rockers got their ghost stories as well.
Vince Neil has a good one.
See, that's why you need to be here.
See, what
Listen,
else?
I am most requested on Halloween more than any other night for
I
sacrificing
bet.
virgins.
I don't know why. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're so good at it.
I am. It's like a hobby.
Well,
It's like
look
a
out,
hobby.
virgins.
It's like a
There aren't too many of them anymore.
So those are birthdays. We don't want to start with the birthdays. We want to do
What did they change it again? How they did there?
Oh, the format keeps changing.
Yeah, right. I hate when they do that.
on this day in 1902.
There we go. Yes.
And I just lost
You
what I was looking at.
Fucked it up.
Let's retake that.
They really
Just-
did redo
we
it.
just,
again.
we need some backwards masking right here.
Backwards masking tape.
That's good. In 1902,
Wow,
this
good one.
day, the Gibson Mandolin Guitar Company was formed.
Yeah.
Gibson's first electric guitar, the ES 150, was produced
Piece
in
of
1936.
piece of
And in 1946, Gibson introduced the P90 style single cloth pickup,
Much better.
which was eventually used on the first Les Paul model in 1952.
That's right.
Mr. Pittsburgh.
Yes. Mr. Loudini.
Gibson has all these guitars, ES this, ES that. What does ES stand for?
Electric Spanish.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
I actually knew that.
Oh, look at you. Even Miss Lily knew.
Weird.
See?
I'm not reading that
Why?
because of what it says.
Why?
Fine. 1939, the Beatles. The real Eleanor Rigby died in her sleep of unknown causes at the age of 44. The 1966 Beatles song that featured her name wasn't written about her, as Paul McCartney's first draft of the song named the character Miss Daisy Hawkins. So there we go. Eleanor Rigby's tombstone was noticed in the 1980s in the graveyard of St. Peter's Parish Church in Woolton, Liverpool, a few feet from where McCartney and Lennon had met for the first time in 1957.
That's beautiful.
Why don't you want to read that?
It's a whole thing. I can't explain it right now.
It's a kind of like an story of irony. I think it's
Yeah,
neat, and I think it's
irony.
appropriate for spooky season. But go ahead, what do you got, Mr. Pittsburgh?
On this day, 1956, Elvis Presley's Love Me Tender. Love Me Tender. Jesus Christ.
Chicken tender.
I love me some chicken tenders.
Love Me Tender. Tender. What's wrong with being tender? Entered the U.S. chart for a 19-week stay, peaking at #1 for 5 weeks. The song.
Thank you, Will Smith.
Get my song.
How about a fresh one from Will Smith, everyone?
The song from Presley's first film of the same name was adapted from the tune Orally. Orally. Written in 1861. Wow.
Old
Ar
AF.
Arlie is one of those songs that is in. Let me see what's in. It's in the Alfred guitar method. It's in the Mel Bay guitar method.
Yes,
It's in like all the guitar methods.
Wow.
And it's one of the songs you learn on your like fifth or sixth lesson once you learn like up to the fourth string or something like that.
Right. Oh, the fourth string. I remember that. That was great. I'm really progressing.
It's you, Lou.
1959, the Quarrymen played at the Casbah. Pull. Ken Brown, suffering from a heavy cold, was unable to perform after the show. An argument started when Paul McCartney said that Brown should not get a share of the performance fee since he had not performed. Lennon and Harrison side with McCartney, and Brown quits the Quarrymen.
Fuck 'em.
Well, there it is.
Stupid Brown.
Oh, 1964,
here
the
we
Beatles
go.
again.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? That's coming pretty soon, actually. It's coming sooner than
What?
So weird.
64.
During a UK tour, the Beatles appeared at De Montfort Hall in Leicester. Ringo Starr drove himself to the venue after taking delivery of a brand new, whatever that is.
Facial Vega.
Okay, that's it. Apparently reaching speeds of 140 miles per hour on the M6
No, it's
motorway.
Fassel. It's a car company.
Flaccid vagina.
Car
I kind of.
No,
I
Lily,
kinda
Lily,
wanna say
Lily,
that.
Lily, Listen to me. Listen to me.
I
Listen-
don't have a
li-
flaccid
listen-
vagina.
Listen to me.
Oh my god.
Listen to me.
Oh my god.
Listen to me, Lily. Listen,
Yeah?
it's like this.
Yeah?
You got to say it right. WMBC.
Out.
What do you mean?
Get out.
Come on.
I
Read it
hate
like
that movie.
Read it like that.
I will not read it like that.
Don't be a asshole.
Go ahead, Mr. Pittsburgh.
Are you ready? And this day in 1969,
69, dudes!
Thank
Nerds.
you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. King Crimson released their debut studio album in the Court of Crimson King on Island Records in England, Atlantic Records in America. Rolling Stone named
In
the court. I'm sorry, yeah. Rolling Stone named In the Court of the Crimson Crim the second greatest progressive rock album of all time, behind Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon.
In the court of the
In
Crimson
the
Scrim.
corners of the Crimson Scrim on Atlantic Records.
Close
Here,
enough.
you have a Crimson Scrim. Do you need a Tampax or something?
Yes. Well, yes, please.
Oh, shucks. I love that Crimson Scrim.
What's wrong with Crimson Scrim?
Crimson Scrim. Crimson
You can't even talk. You
Crim-
can't even say it. You can't even say
Crimson
it wrong.
Scrim.
You can't say it either. None of us
Crimson
can.
Scrim.
Fuck the King.
It's Crimson King.
Crimson Scrim.
Crimson Scrim.
That's my new band.
Crimson Sniz.
I can't even say
Crimson Sniz.
Night. Crimson Scrim. Live.
Oh my.
Oh.
That's me. 1970. Neil Diamond went to number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Cracklin' Rosie, his first number 1 as an artist. Diamond, who had spent his early career as a songwriter in the Brill Building, wrote the 1966 number 1 hit, I'm a Believer for the Monkees.
You said, can I, like, shock you?
I did say, so therefore I'm going to do this.
That'll teach you.
1970, Black Sabbath were at number 1 on the UK chart with their second album, Paranoid. The album, which contains some of the band's best-known signature songs, including the title track Iron Man and War Pigs, is now regarded as one of the classic heavy metal albums. Yes!
I take it by I'm crying.
McGruff.
Yes.
Whatever happened to McGruff?
No, it's not the same anymore.
He's arrested.
McGruff,
retired.
McGruff the crime dog.
On this day in 1970, the Carpenters were at number 2 on the U.S. singles chart with "If Only Just Begun." The song was originally recorded by Smokey Roberts under the name Freddie Allen and was used in a wedding-themed television commercial for a Crocker National Bank in California in 1970. Okay, I finished.
The Carpenters
You
took
may
a,
have just begun,
on this
but I
day in
just finished.
1970. The Carpenters took a number 2. That's what I was.
Oh!
That's why you were laughing.
This day in 1970. Well, a lot of shit happened this day in 1970. The first issue of Sounds, the British music newspaper, was published. It was intended to be a weekly rival to titles such as Melody Maker and New Musical Express, as well known initially for giving away posters in the center of the paper. Sounds closed on April 6, 1991. So they had a bit of a run.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
I don't even know who that is. I want to do the next one. Please don't make me do that.
All right,
Please
go.
make
Yeah,
me-
just go.
Do it.
Go.
Okay.
Do it.
1978. Steven Tyler. Joe Perry and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Oh, that sucks. Were injured after a cherry bomb was thrown on stage during a gig in Philadelphia.
Cherry
The
bomb!
group performed behind a safety fence for the rest of the tour.
Yeah, good idea. Was that you or a sound
That's
effect?
fucked up. It's the sound effect.
Is it-
I'm
Is
like,
it
"Ooh,
real
that's
or is
pretty-"
it Memorex?
I didn't know. I've been sitting right here too. On this day, 1979, The Rose, starring Bette Midler as a self-destructive 1960s rock star, transparently based on Janis Joplin, for all of our Spanish-speaking friends, premiered in Los Angeles. The film
We're going to hell.
The film was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Actor in a Supporting Role
minute.
by Freddie Forrest, Best Actress in a Leading Role by Miller in her screen debut, and Best Film Editing and Best Sound. I want to include all of our friends tonight.
We don't have any friends.
True.
This is our friends.
Yeah, that's
Right
it.
here.
Yeah.
Here comes the mob coming to cancel us.
Yep.
We are only
Wait,
friends.
so the Spanish
Spanish
pronunciation.
El
I
Rose.
don't mean to pee my pants. Stop, guys.
El Rose.
Johannes Joplin.
Yeah, Janis Joplin.
Fuck me running.
Freddie Forrest.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's go.
I see
There
you,
we
friend.
go. There's a good one.
1980, the funeral took place of Led Zeppelin's drummer John Bonham Bonzo, was found dead at guitarist Jimmy Page's house of what was described as asphyxiation after inhaling his own vomit after excessive vodka consumption. 40 shots in 4 hours. He was only
It's so sad.
40 shots in 4. So he had 10 shots an hour.
I'd be dead.
Fuck! That's some serious fucking drinking, man.
I can't
Well, they say that that's like Gary Moore. He had drinking in like entire fifth of like Crown Royal or something.
fuck that.
Oh,
And you know, I mean, he was like my age. He was like in his
Yeah.
mid-50s.
yeah. Well,
I'll be dead too.
well.
And I didn't even live a
I
life
do
of
one
like.
shot and I'm hungover for like 3 days.
Yeah.
1981, The Police went to #1 on the UK album chart with Ghost in the Machine, the band's third #1 LP.
Man, these guys came out, man, and they were just.
They were crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
In 1987, Whitesnake went to the. Hey, Whitesnake. You don't think they're talking about.
Their penis.
Whitesnake went to #1 on the U.S. singles chart with "Here I Go Again."
There I
a
go
number
again,
9
there I
hit
go.
In the UK, 1987. There's that snake. That's mine.
Penis.
Please, can we call it a
Pen
tallywhacker?
15.
We need to. Yeah, I have stuff to say about that, but I'm gonna refrain.
All right.
On this day in 1992, REM scored their second UK #1 album with Automatic for the People, featuring singles Drive, not to be confused with the song by the Cars,
Right.
Correct.
Everybody
Yes.
Hurts, Man on the Moon, and Sidewinder Sleeps Tonight. Wow. It was a big album. I remember when that album came out.
I guess I'll read it. 1999, U.S. teenager Christina Aguilera went to #1 on the UK singles chart with Genie in a Bottle. The song spent 5 weeks at #1 on the U.S. chart and won Aguilera the Best New Artist Grammy for the year. And she tries to claim she's not from Pittsburgh, but bitch, you are.
She's from Westford.
She's from Waxford.
On this day in 1999, a charity auction selling Elvis Presley belongings was held at the Grand Hotel Las Vegas. A wristwatch sold for $32,500, a cigar box $25,000, an autographed baseball sold for $19,000, and a 1956 Lincoln Continental sold for $250,000.
Yikes. He probably had sex.
When
in that
you
Lincoln.
go to the Country Music Museum in Nashville,
Yeah.
you see like some of like Hank Williams Cadillac, Carl
Right.
Perkins Cadillac,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And these things are tricked the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Phones, televisions, and everything. Like what the hell? How would you call anybody on the phone in the 1950s from a car?
I don't know the
How does that
rules.
work?
I don't know.
I don't know I don't know all the ins and outs of
Me
things.
either.
Just gonna quickly scroll. The Police again did something. 2007.
They did something.
Sting topped a list of the worst lyricists ever for such alleged sins as name dropping Russian novelist Vladimir Nabokov in the Police tune "Don't Stand So Close to Me." Quoting a Volvo bumper sticker, "If you love someone, set them free," and co-opting the works of Chaucer, St. Augustine, and Shakespeare. The survey in Blender magazine placed Rush drummer Neil Peart at number 2.
Wow.
Creed frontman Scott Stapp at number 3. And Oasis guitarist Noel Gallagher at number 4, saying Gallagher seemed incapable of following a metaphor through a single line, let alone a whole verse.
Wow.
Judgy wudgy.
Just a little.
Wow, nobody was safe there.
No.
I don't even know what that is.
We are just, I think, going to kind of continue. Paul McCartney and his band surprised New Yorkers by performing songs from his new album in a short impromptu free concert to roughly 3,000 people on a long truck parked in the middle of Times Square. This was on this day in 2013. So that's kind of fun.
Interesting.
And so that is it. And so let's send some happy birthday shout outs
Happy
before
birthday, you sons of bitches.
there's some good, there's some
good ones
interesting
on
people on here.
Yeah.
Dennis DL from the Honeycombs, who was born in, say, 1943. Jerry LaCroix from the jazz rock American group Blood, Sweat, and Tears, born this day. Happy
Nice.
birthday, Jerry. Alan Cartwright, bassist for Procol Harum. Happy birthday. Singer-songwriter John Prine. Love John Prine. Born this day in 1946. Cyril Neville. Vocals, percussionist with the Neville Brothers. Keith Grimes, guitarist. Ava Cassidy. Sharon Osbourne. Oh, the lovely Sharon Osbourne. Born in 1952. Happy birthday, Sharon. Mitch Scottish musician, singer, songwriter, like backed up with tons and tons of people. I think he's produced stuff. Born in 1953. Tanya Tucker. Yeah. Big hits in the 70s, primarily. Country singer, born in 1955. Happy birthday, Tanya Tucker. David Lee Roth, Diamond Dave. This could have been a Van Halen podcast, but we
Mr.
didn't.
Frontman.
But I couldn't tie Van Halen into Halloween, so.
Nah.
So happy birthday, David Lee. Christy McCall, and rest in peace as well. Loved the album Tropical Brainstorm. If you, I would tell you, if you're interested in her, start with that album. It's really, really good. Al Conley from Glass Tiger. Eric Martin from
Going to see him on
Mr.
Monday.
Big.
He's
really?
opening for Schenker.
Oh, that's cool.
Martin Kemp from Spandau Ballet. You know this much is true.
Yeah.
Johnny Mayle, guitarist with alternative rock band Republica. Born in 1963. Jim Glennie from the English rock band James.
Oh, okay.
Graham Crabb, the drums for the English alternative band Pop Will Eat Itself.
Oh my.
Mike Malanin from the Goo Goo Dolls. Happy birthday.
Uh-huh.
Scott Morris, no relation to Rich Morris. Maya.
Yes.
I remember her.
Yes.
And that's pretty
That's
much
about
it.
it.
Everybody else kiss my ass.
That's right.
Bye.
If it's your birthday today and we forgot you,
But-
piss off!
Peace off, you bastards.
Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. Was there anybody we need to address?
We've addressed, I think, everybody.
We addressed the entire room.
Yes.
We have. Well,
Keith, Keith said Tuesday is no bueno, unfortunately, next week. He's playing out.
well, that's what he's supposed to be doing. Good for him.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty good show. It was fun. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
Yeah.
Interesting start, but, you know, it worked out, I
We
think.
worked it
We
out.
made it work.
Slow start, but we
That's all that matters.
got
Got
there.
it figured out. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and we don't forget to check out Rock Rage Radio. It's specifically what, Lily?
Hot Links with Lily 6, Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Also vote for me for Face of Horror. And I will be at Resurrection Island Tattoo Convention all weekend long. So if you're in Wheeling, West Virginia, come say hi.
You said erection.
I sure did. Res erection.
Yeah. That's what That's what I said. I get in a residue sometimes when I.
You don't say.
Oh, sir.
LoudiniRock'n'RollCircus.com. Do all that stuff there. Thank you. And
don't forget our good friend,
Chris Thunderwolf.
Yes.
Chris.
Chris,
Well,
you're our
online.
good friend. Chris, you're my best friend.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Chris.
Check him out online, wolfscustoms.online. Amazing custom paintwork and finishes, etc. on your musical instruments. So check him out. All right, guys, I think that kind of
That will do
wraps it up. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
Nope.
Well, on that happy note, happy weekend, week, or whatever. I don't. I don't know when you're listening to this.
Yeah, whenever. Happy whatever.
Happy whatever you do. Like, be happy at it
Don't worry.
and party on, dudes. This is how this whole podcast went.
That lady, she a young lady, she gonna go first. I made pee-pee before I came over.
You made it.
I made pee-pee.
I made it. It's like you had to cook it on the stove or something.
Yeah. I made pee-pee before I came over.